5 key factors we must master from the avalanche of information that we are receiving from Sumeria and Babylon. The title of this video is Facts from Babylon You Must Know. It is very clear that we understand that the Sumerians, who predate the Babylonians, invented or improved a wide range of technologies. We also know that they also had a lot to do with the god, Anunnakis, Yahweh, and many other deities. The name Babylon means a city of materialism and sensual pleasure. The term comes from Akkadian Babili or Babelim, Aramaic, or Babel, Hebrew, and Bavel, Arabic. There is a lot of information that is coming all over the show. If you watch Billy Carson's, he has lots of podcasts of forbidden knowledge. You might have watched David Icke, Credo Mutua, Baba Credo Mutua, alien reptilian agendas. You could also have had a lot of information whereby we are told that Sumer is older than Khamit, and that the Sumerians would now they've vanished from the earth. We don't know what they looked like, and also their gods, the Anunnakis, the reptilians, Tauris, and many others. It is very clear that these prominent scholars and teachers and researchers and speakers have some facts from Sumerians and the facts from Babylon. We also look at Esara Imhotep. He discusses this by asking the question where the Sumerians Black gives a website there. We should know a lot of these factors. If you are a member of Marifado, where do we put ourselves and how do we understand this? We want to start by saying that the official history of Sumer begins with the Ubaid era, 5300 to 4100 BCE. The Ubaid people we know came from East Africa. That's a fact that we shall establish shortly. Then we've got the Sumerian civilization or empire, the early civilization in Mesopotamia with cities like Ura and Uruka, which laid the foundation for later empires. The descent of Sumerians and the rise of Akkadian Empire. And then we've got the Akkadians, who we know they were from Ethiopia or Kush. Finally, we've got the Babylonian Empire, 606 to 536. So let's consider these factors and say there is also other later kingdoms like the Hittite and Kassite periods. The Kassites we know definitely Kassite is Ethiopian, and also KSH and the god Kashasu, Zagros mountains there. That's where our ancestors had. They have got a place Hindu Kushi going up to the Dravidians kingdom in South India. Also, it should be remembered that the kings of Sumer were often referred to as the kings of Kush. We have said that now. Then the Neo-Babylonian Empire, we can see it here, and we know that all these are spin-offs of the Sumerian Empire, including even the Assyrian Empire. We want to look at one scholar. He has done a lot, Dr. Nayu Osahon. He goes on to say that the Sumerians, an ancient people, are claimed by white scholarship to be of unknown origins. It's rather interesting because relics of prehistoric blacks were discovered in the region by a number of even these European researchers, archaeologists, and scholars. And the civilization of Sumeria, as well as Babylonia, was described as inhabited by people of black-faced people or black-headed people. So these scholars, when they say that they don't know the Sumerians, it's because the Sumerians were Africans. We have to be fair. And we can show here that the standing nude priest, king of Uruka, 3500 BCE, that's melanin dominant. And also this is the fertility figure. Normally it is associated with reptilian, associated with all sorts of alien entities. This fertility figure of Ura 4000 BCE is a lizard, because lizard people. And also the Sumerian king wearing god's headdress is melanin dominant human beings, as well as all these, the Sumerian king whose nose has been chipped off, and also the deity, the god wearing all the regalia of the dead and holding a pine cone here. So could they have been mistaken to describe themselves as black-headed people? Or could they be saying something? Why would they say that black-faced people? We know that black-face means Ethiopian bent face, right? This is very clear. A number of factors from the Bible. Another white lie, the story of Ham that is in the Bible. And when they draw a picture of Ham, they draw him as a European with European hair. They don't draw him as an African proper, or as a Kushite or Misraim or Putin or Canaanite. This is a fact that we have to know, because they are fake news that they spread all over the show. Even Nama, they show him like that. These lies are going to be prominent and prevalent, and a plethora of them have been shown by other names for Nimrod and other images for Nimrod, who is shown with various names and stolen into many other religions. Another white lie is that the Sumerians introduced cuneiform writing, which we have already said is hieroglyphic, which was already introduced by Nama, the king of Khamit, who introduced this cuneiform writing in 4100, and also into Babylon and Chaldea in the 4000. So these are also our Kushite kings that have been renamed or simply not fully described. And with the advent of artificial intelligent graphics, more forgeries are on the way, whitewashing melanin-dominant human populations, royalty, and divinities. You can see already that it was already in place. This is all fabrication, because the statue of Indu, the Sumerian scribe, 2400 BCE, has his nose being reconstructed. We know by who. So if the gods indeed were first in Sumer, why was that Sumerian technology was stuck in an old groove where they used clay tablets? Even in Khamit, where they used clay tablets, they also invented paper. It is very clear that we need to state a standard in which we introduce this timeline as a fact from Babylon and Sumer, so that we can never fail to justify new information that is coming. The first step that we have to do that is to understand the number of hymns that have been explained. Like here from the 4 slices of the Anunnaki history, they came from Nibiru, a star, Earth, to mine gold 450,000 BCE. Then they created a slave race that they mandate to mine gold, because the gods they came with, the gig they came with, refused and they were tired. And there was a deluge, and some survived the deluge. And there was a nuclear holocaust in the Sinai, Canaan, nuked in Sumer, and the radiation was felt as up to about 2025 BCE. So this analysis by major scholars who read the Sumerian tablets, like Billy Carson's, David Icke, and many others, has to be understood by us from a perspective of our own Bantu history and narrative. And fortunately, if you go to our book Free From God in chapter 17, Revered Ancestors Home, in which we quote one of the books that used to have black root signs, we know that 78 trillion 8 years ago, that's when our ancestors appeared on the earth, and that the earth has gone through various delusions and various destruction and reconstruction. This is justified, and you can read our book, it will tell you all that. So our earth and solar system were created 78 trillion years ago. As soon as the earth was ready, 144,000 ancestors came. This is from Elder Modo Monchu, and he teaches that, and in our book Free From God we elaborate and explain this as history before the origins of the universe or universes. It's a lot there that you need to look at. That's why then when you come to scholars, modern scholars, and they say the settlers, first settlers of Sumer were not Sumerians, it's very clear, because we are not looking at one event, we are looking at many occurrences of the same cycle. Remember the issue of the waters of Nyunyu and entropy that we explained in many of our videos. Now when we come here in our book, we walk you from prior the Big Bang through the waters of Nyunyu as they become alive, and the original God self-generate and populate the universe with consciousness, and the earth with the melanin dominant human beings 78 trillion years ago. We offer geological proof all the way, eventually showing you using quantum physics that the knowledge and systems that we think of in terms of matter, vibrations, and frequency was an African area that they understood well before these sciences came aboard. So the Sumerians fit in, the Anunnakis fit in that time scale. And at the same time, from the book Civilization or Barbarism by Dr. Shenk Anda Diop the late, we know that the yellow people appeared on the earth 15,000 years ago, at the very earliest, perhaps during the Mesolithic age bordering on the Neolithic age, resulting in the interbreeding of black and white in the cold climate. And we also know that the Semites first appeared around 2400 BCE. We know who was on the earth from 78 trillion years ago to about 20,000 BCE. So that has been covered. This is information we get from Sumer. We also get a lot of information like the astronomical king list, the Anunnaki, and the Sumerian accounts that we get there. The Sumerian king list and flood story, we know, we read it in the Bible, but we know it came from Sumer. It was read and interpreted from the Sumerian tablets, composed during the reign of Utu-Hegal or Uruk. He mentions Kushi, this flood list, Noah's grandson, now in the Bible, and it appears in the Sumerian cuneiform writing 2100 BCE, before even Abraham was born. So that's a fact. Rolson, a scholar, used an African language known as the Gala or Oromo language to decipher the cuneiform writing, and we shall show you some of the words and similarities. Although they say Sumer has been lost, here is very clear. Akkadian in Sumer, loan words in Gala and Semitic, Arabic, Hebrew, which came from African languages. We know that Turu, Sumerian origin, divination, omens, a feature or liver, lang, a religion. Tiru, liver in Gala. Nduru, Turu in our language. Kabidu is a person, or Kapatu, which is Bantu, which is straightforward. You can see the similarities there. Very, very clear. What we learn from the Sumerians is that the Sumerians and the Elamites came from Africa. Like the founders of the Indus Valley civilization, the Elamites and Sumerian language are closely related to African and Dravidian languages. Sumer or Sumeria is the same as Somalia. It's very, very clear. Perhaps that's how and why Somalia has been made a stateless place, so that you cannot go there and learn a lot. Now, also when you go to West Africa, the breaking news that we get from a lot of scholars, the website we are giving here, is that the lost Sumerian seat of Akkad and grave of Sargon the Great was found in Iboland. You can download the full report by archaeologists, and this is the website we are showing here. Sumerian king list of the lineage of the ancient city of Agade, founded by Sargon, mostly bore titles originated from titles still borne by kings of Kwa language groups of Nigeria, as well as titles of Nok and Fulan kings such as Sakin. The origin of the name Sumer's most famous king, Sargon or Sarugin, Ghana, Kuru. These most popular titles were in the Kwa languages were Eri, Nuri, Nri, Ata, Idu, Dudu, Duru, Kwa, 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 Eshi, Kashi, Eshi. Their oldest divine kings and rulers took the title Urashi. Ushe is also another language meaning sea emperors. Urashi is a popular river in Iboland. Very, very, very interesting and critical. Again, the Sumerian king list, and also the story of the flood. The flood swept over the land. After the flood, it swept over the land, and kingship had descended from heaven for a second time. Remember, we shall show you something very interesting. Kish or Kush became the seat of kingship. That's why we were saying the royalty, African royalty, was left in charge of the earth by the divinities. Here is the story here. Very, very clear. If you listen to our video, the gods once lived on the earth with us, it will explain all these mysteries, if they are mysteries to you. And when you listen to Billy Carson's and all others, you won't have your head spinning around, and you understand where to place the knowledge he is throwing to us. The gods who abandoned the earth. Again, this is a video that is clear and that is critical. The most controversial ancient Sumerian text reviews the list of 8 ancient kings that are also known as gods. Very clear. The pharaohs. Ishe in our language, meaning king, also mean lord or the gods. That's Shona Ishe. And also these existed according to the text before the great flood. A group of 8 intelligent beings ruled over Mesopotamia for a period of 241,200 years. That's how you fit it in the 78 trillion year. It's actually tiny. It's not a lot. It's a very, 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 very tiny period when you consider the number of years that we are considering here. So here are the lists now that we are going to give of the 5 facts you must master from all the explanations and teachings that we are getting from scholars like Billy Carson's, David Icke, myself, and many, many, many others. We must understand that history is manipulated to suit the current rulers. For instance, in the book The Destruction of Black Civilization by Chancellor Williams, we learn what became of the black people of Sumer. A traveler asked the old man, for ancient records show that the people of Sumer were black. What happened to them? Ah, sighed the old man. They lost their history, so they died. It's a Sumer legend. Number 2, a Christian myth and the purpose of humanity on earth. The Sumerian gods, the alien DNA, and the manipulation and the fate of humanity. We also learn again from Khamit. We also learn from our Bantu traditions. We also learn again from the Atrahasis epic, or the epic of Atrahasis and the Enuma Elish. Number 3, crucial aspects of civilization. Ziggurat, the building structure, all these building structures that are geometrically sacred. We learn also from the Sumer cuneiform writing, which is predated anyway by hieroglyphics. And number 4, the purpose of human consciousness. The journey of the divine sparking the soul in the body. Its war against the reptilian alien agenda to trap. And also we learn a lot about Enki and Lil, Ea, Anu, and many other divinities, and also astronomy. And number 5, the 78 trillion year time scale. So these 5 are very, very interesting and very, very important. These are crucial facts that you must master and understand. In conclusion, therefore, as the Sumerians are the ancestors of the Babylonians, all came from Africa. Their religion, their gods, their goddesses, their spirituality would not be different from what we are teaching as men and as followed by melanin dominant human beings all over the earth before the arrival of Christianity, Judaism, Islam, and all these other conquering and evangelistic religions. Our interpretation and understanding of what is being taught today must basically enhance our perception, how we revere our ancestors, how we know and select the correct and the true ancestors, because they are pretender ancestors that will come in and pretend to be your ancestors, and how we revere the divinities, the good divinities, for the benefit of our souls. So if you need to learn more, and if you want this video, listen to this video again as many times as possible, because it will allow you in this Aquarian age to handle a lot of information that is coming and that will come and that will bombard our airwaves and social media platforms. Your manager to People by LM says subscribe to our channel, Khamit Iburu Ethics, and also you can catch us on our email, johnny@marifado.com. Have a great day as you learn these crucial facts from Sumer. Amen.